To all you leaders and entrepreneurs out there, do you ever think about what really is my responsibility? More importantly, what mindset do you need to have to make sure you really do the things you're responsible for? Well, today I have a great treat. I have the world-renowned, the prolific, one of the wisest business people I know, and someone who I consider a master salesperson, Dr. Myron Golden. Welcome, Myron. It's so good to see you.
Glad to be here, brother.
Listen, I'm so excited about this discussion. I want to talk about two frameworks that I came up with in You Are CEO and get your advice about it.
Oh, cool.
The first one is the CEO mindset framework.
Okay.
And in this framework, I really redefine what CEO means.
Okay.
That CEO means that we must charge, we must expand, and we must overcome.
Come on now.
This is the mindset we got to have. I don't care what you're doing, CEO of your life or your business. So let's talk about charge for a minute, taking action. Tell me a little bit about why this is so important in the mindset of someone who wants to succeed.
Because nothing happens until you do something, right? Every effect must have a cause, right? And if you know what the effect is that you desire, that will help you determine the cause that you desire to become. And so for me, it's interesting when you look at the law of inertia versus the law of momentum. The law of inertia, an object at rest will remain at rest until unless it's acted upon by an outside force.
Right.
The law of momentum, an object in motion will continue in motion until unless it's acted upon by an outside force, right? So in the beginning, the amount of energy that's necessary to move something off the point of inertia, to start to begin to build some momentum, is like, it's ginormous, right? You have to, the amount of energy that you have to have just to get something started is way more than the amount of energy you have to make something work.
Right.
And I think what happens is people give up so early because of all of the energy they expended to get to the point where something moved. They're like, man, if it's gonna be this hard, I don't know if I wanna be bothered. But the reality is, now that they've gotten it moving, if they would've just kept it moving, it's not gonna be that hard.
And it's more than taking action. We have to be in action. It has to become a lifestyle almost of staying in that action until you get to the result.
Oh, 100%.
So when you think about the next word, expand, so there's a reason some people grow when others shrink. You know, I'm reminded of Peter when he said, grow in the grace. And Apostle Paul said, to speak in the truth in love, we might grow thereby. Growth is something that sometimes people don't understand. It is a necessary pain to create everything that you want. Tell me a little bit about growth and why this is so important.
How about why it's so important and why it's so hard? It's so important because everything you desire is on the other side of growth. It's on the other side of the person you've not yet become.
Right.
It's on the other side of the thing you haven't learned to do yet. It's on the other side of the action you haven't taken yet.
Right.
So everything that you desire is on the other side of you becoming more.
That's good. Yeah.
Right? That's why it's so important. Well, why is it so hard? Because the enemy of growth is grown. Like the enemy of learning is knowing.
That's
right?
good.
Because here's what it says in Hosea. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
Okay? But then it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. So here's what that means. It wasn't that they couldn't know that they didn't know. It was that they wouldn't know that they didn't know. So my question then becomes, well, why wouldn't they know?
Right.
Like, why would somebody reject knowledge?
Right.
That doesn't even make it, reject knowledge?
Right.
Here's why. Because what they need to learn can't get past what they think they already know.
That's good.
And it's not what you know that's the problem. It's what you know that ain't so. That's the problem. Right?
And this is why some people got degrees to actually limit their learning, because that degree made them think they could stop.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And what they did to get the degree in the first place was memorize a whole bunch of things that somebody else told them were the right answer that were not necessarily the right answer.
Right.
So unfortunately, what I call the miseducational, misdirectional system, it doesn't teach people to learn. It teaches people that they know. And if you teach people that they know, you're actually preventing them from learning.
Powerful, powerful. Let's go to this next word, overcome. And I'm reminded of, there's so much beautiful things in the Bible that says, he that overcometh, he that overcometh. But then you remember when the children of Israel, Moses was gone too long. And they decided not to wait on leadership and to deal with the obstacle that they were in. And they started to build their own way of worship, right? Moses came back and said, this is not the sound of them that have overcome. He noticed that they had got out of that overcoming spirit that got them where they were. Tell me about why people run from this part of overcoming and why it's so critical. People stop when that obstacle gets in front of them, and on the other side of that is everything they want.
Because they don't know who they are. Most people, oftentimes I hesitate to say most people because I haven't asked everybody, but I can confidently say that most people have no idea who they are. They do not own their identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are based on whose they are. They don't know who they are based on whose image they're made in. And so they look at an obstacle and think that the obstacle is bigger than them. So you think overcome, right? So over is above, it's higher than, it's bigger than. So in order for somebody to overcome, when they look at an obstacle, they have to look at the obstacle as smaller than them and beneath them if they're going to overcome it. And it doesn't matter how big it is, it's still smaller than them and beneath them. I was watching a video on YouTube this week, and the guy said, nothing in business is urgent. And so when I go to bed, I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. Well, my phone's on Do Not Disturb even when I'm awake most of the time. But especially when I go to bed. I don't want anybody waking me up in the middle of the night calling me but Myron, what if there's an emergency? Well, call 911 and then let me know in the morning what happened. Right? And I know that may sound cold, but what am I going to do in the middle of the night? Right? And so I think what happens is people, because they don't own an identity, they don't know how powerful they are. They don't know. My dad taught me, we were working on this car. I'm in elementary school. We're working on this old raggedy car. We're taking off the exhaust manifold. One of the bolts is rusted on. And we tried a torch, and a chisel, and a hammer. Nothing. Vice grips. Nothing worked, right? My mom calls us for lunch. I said, Dad, it's not coming off. He said, oh, it's coming off. It's coming off. You want to know why it's coming off, boy? Yes, sir. Because we got a brain and it don't have a brain. I'm like, okay, got it. Anytime I'm dealing with something that doesn't have a brain, it can't win. If it's opposing me, it can't win. Because I have a brain. And so when you understand who you are based on who you are, you will realize that all things truly are under your feet, which makes it easy for you to overcome.
I love it. I love it. And some people don't want to overcome. They want to come over. And they really try to find another route, but we can't do that. So that's the mindset. I want to leave you with just this framework that I expand on with the CEO responsibility framework. Now, I just want to know your reaction to it. We don't have time to really break it down unless we do this again, which I'm just putting a little thing out there. It's up to you. But
I like your style. Your style.
So there's 4 P's in this framework. So every CEO, this is for all the entrepreneurs out there, they got to be concerned about their process. I love how you took sales and made a process out of it. They got to be concerned about their people. We got to deal with emotional intelligence and how people think.
100%.
We got to deal with our profit. Are you doing something that's really profitable? But here's one sometimes people don't think about is their peace. Their peace of mind. We're responsible to make sure what we do in our business is considerate
peaceful profits
of the life we want to live
100%
and the peace we want to have.
100%.
Say something about this.
So a lot of people, and no judgment here, just an observation, a lot of people want to make as much money as they possibly can at any cost. I want to make as much money as I possibly can, but not at any cost. Because there's some things that are just not, it's just not worth it.
That's right.
Right? And I'm not just talking about things that lack integrity. I'm not just talking about, I want to make as much money as I can and I'll lie and cheat and steal. I'm not talking about that. No, granted, we're going to move all of the immoral stuff off the table. But still, there are some things that are moral, that are legal, that are ethical, that I still don't want to do to make money. Right? And I am not on the hustle. I'm not on the grind. I'm more in the ebb and flow of life. And I believe that you can't eat your cake and have it too, but you can have your cake and eat it too.
Nice.
And so I like the idea of not feeling like I'm always working. One of the reasons I have an office is so when I go home, I feel like I'm not at work, right? I like the idea that I get to play golf 3 or 4 times a week. And I could make more money if I didn't play as much golf. But for what? To what end?
Right.
So I think when we get to the place in our lives when we're going to have peace and peaceful profits, it's going to be building our business in a way that serves us at the highest level, so it gives us the energy and bandwidth to serve our clients at the highest level.
So I could say in summary quickly that people have to redefine money and time and understand we really want money to buy us the time to be able to have the freedom. So ultimately we can live the type of life that we want.
100%. If you are using your time to get money, you're going to end up on an unpleasant side of that equation. But if you learn to use your money to get time, oh man, you're going to live the life of your dreams.
Thank you so much, Myron. Listen,
Appreciate you, brother.
As you all have heard this, I want y'all to understand something. That when you take these principles and the wisdom that's been shared and you apply it to your life as well as your business, there's nothing you can't do. But you have to first realize there's something you're responsible for, and there's a mindset you have to actually do that. So take what you've heard here, do something with it, because this is You Are a CEO. And remember, you run the business of you.